absolutely colossal! Saved by Irving!
Bring it. Bring it back up, 'cause it's lit.
Oh, Canadians are still riding the high from their team's historic victory at a Men's World Cup. And video emerging today of Ishmael Kone, released from hospital, joining his teammates to a ton of cheers. But why are some pundits bothered by Jesse Marsch's reaction to that victory? We are going to discuss as we welcome you on in to Bet365 for the win. A beautiful home for the beautiful game. Andy Petrillo alongside Jordan Wilson. That is Jimmy Brennan. The Canadians will be back in action again on the 24th, taking on Switzerland. A draw win. We'll see them finish top of the group. We already know they're moving on. But that is all thanks to that victory against Qatar, and in particular, putting up 6 to be ahead of Switzerland in goal differential. But Jimmy, you got people in the States, pundits in Ireland. They're all saying they hate the way Jesse Marsch reacted. The 6, jumping up and down, getting excited. What say you to people criticizing Canada's manager?
Let me tell you, right? I could not care less what people on the outside are saying, right? This is our moment. This is our time. It's been a long time coming to get where we are as a nation that supports this game, that is trying to grow this game. And now we've got a moment where we've picked up a point. History.
Yep.
We end up getting 3 points, scoring 6 goals. This is our time. And if Jesse Marsch wants to put his hands up and say that's 6 goals, well, we scored 6 goals. So he's not wrong in what he's doing, but he's just celebrating, right? And when I look at everything that Jesse's doing with this team right now and across the country from east to west, everybody is supporting this. There's viewing parties all over Toronto, all over Montreal, Calgary, Vancouver, because we love this team, we love where this program's going, and Jesse Marsch is leading the way, and he's enthusiastic, you see his energy, he's passionate, and we all as Canadians support him. So we don't care what anybody else is saying. And if they got problems, go deal with your own countries first. Let us enjoy this moment right now with our national team program.
His excitement, his exuberance, that's merited. Because he took a really good team when he took this job 2 years ago, but he's absolutely made them better. And this is a moment right here when you're going to beat Qatar 6-0 at a World Cup, where that feels like you put everything together. That feels like a day when someone that was scrutinized and Jonathan Davis scores a hat trick. A lot came together. Obviously, the Ishmael Kone injury is not something that was planned or something that we want to revisit. But again, it just felt good for Canadians to be seen on the world stage. So that's why Jesse Marsch is celebrating. I will say this though, he does have that persona that I think when other people look at him, you're you just want to give him one of those real quick. I love him. We love him, right, for what he's doing. But he does rub people the wrong way. It was like that at Leeds. It's like that, obviously, with the States. He does do sometimes those little coy remarks sometimes that he makes. But again, I don't really care about that. I think this moment's for players that have played this game and have set the standard. I'm hitting you for a reason there, Jimmy. But this is what that moment means. It's for them, those players, the community, the country. So it's big. I think it's merited. I don't think it was over the top. It made sense.
So if he was a manager of another country, would he bother you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
1,000%. He would. No.
But I'll say this. It's when people are saying, act like you've been there before. But that's just it. Canada hasn't been there before.
So let us enjoy it.
So that's the moment. And by the way, Qatar was down to 9 players. That's not Canada's fault that Qatar couldn't keep up, have the speed, have the skill. By the way, it was already 2-0 before they picked up their first red card. What did you want Canada to do? By the way, we haven't been there before. So let's bring in Christian Jack, who's out in Vancouver, obviously discussing some of the criticism of Jesse Marsch's reaction after this historic victory. KJ, what's your take on that?
It is the hottest topic on an off day for Canada at the World Cup. I suppose we ought to find news at some point. So I guess we should thank the international media. And, the English-speaking media have a lot of power in the World Cup. They always have. And that goes back a long time, ever since they started to take it seriously. And it was, by the way, they were late to that train as well, particularly in the UK. Many of those teams not even wanting to go to the World Cup in the first few years. But once they started caring, they have a lot of power. And so when you start talking about who that is, it's the United Kingdom and it's the United States. And both, by the way, have to declare an interest at the door before they start talking about Jesse Marsch. One, because a lot of it is tainted by their impact of what he did at Leeds in the Premier League. And in the other one, a lot of it because they have to declare an interest because a lot of it is relationships and whether they've soured or not, or whether it's jealousy because they don't have him coaching their own team. There's just facts. So let's lay that at the door right away. So before you start bringing your opinions, you got to declare your interests. But as said, like ultimately this is Canada's moment, and we shouldn't care what anybody else has to say. Canadians can sometimes care too much about what other people think about them. There's value in, I suppose, in being thoughtful and self-aware. But why should we allow other people's opinions to define our moment? It's nice that people want to start talking about Canadian football. That's what I guess is a good thing. That's what happens when you're at a World Cup. But we're just flavor of the day. The next couple of days, they're not going to care. It doesn't matter whether they're calling about how bad our black kits look or how our coach celebrated it with the supporters. Who cares? Not everyone will understand this country, agree with what we're doing, approve of us. That's fine. Stop letting other people's opinions bother us and concentrate on what we need to do. It's been a long time since we've got that victory. The only people that we need to care about their opinion about Jesse Marsch are the 26 players who are blessed enough to put a shirt on and play at this World Cup. That is the only people who we need to care about. And if they are okay with what Jesse Marsch is doing, I'm okay with it too.
The only question I have are about his dance moves on the sideline. That's it. Jesse, just wondering, I don't know if you were playing DJ, I didn't know what was going on there. That's my only question. But other than that, I loved everything else.
There's the upbeat and the downbeat. He's on somewhere in between.
He was on his own beat.
He's living somewhere in between those.
He was on his own beat and definitely walking to the beat of his own drum, as Canada right now is leading Group B. As we can take a look at the standings, final group stage game will be against Switzerland. And a lot of, obviously, is what we're saying here, KG, I'll come back to you, is the significance of winning this group and trying to minimize that travel.
Very important. I mean, obviously, Canada's still not officially booked their spot in the last 32. Looks like it's going to happen, but there's still quite a few countries and few groups that can get to that 4 points on third place. Canada's goal difference certainly can help that as well. The facts are the facts. Switzerland are coming here this week, and from what we're hearing, they're packing up. They're packing up, and they're coming to Vancouver, believing they're coming here for 2 weeks. This is really important because they base themselves in California, and if they finish second, they go back to California to play in LA in the first game of the knockout stages, as do Canada. On the 28th, in 8 days' time, we're going to be talking about the first knockout game of the World Cup, and it's likely either Switzerland in that game or Canada. And the other team is going to be here in Vancouver, waiting for another 4 days, another 3 days off away from playing, another 3 days of rest, getting to play at home if it's Canada in Vancouver, knowing that if they win that game, they stay in Vancouver again and get to play another knockout game. So effectively, it's not just a game to battle for the top of the standings. It's a game for the battle of a city. You win the game, you get to stay in Vancouver, and it opens up to play 2 knockout games for you as a distinct advantage. We've seen already the massive advantages that we've had in this competition. Mexico, United States, and Canada. I went to Seattle yesterday, spoke to the American players. They could feel it. It's 16-2, the goal difference right now in the 6 games between the hosts and their opponents. So it says a lot about what's going on in this World Cup, and that's traditionally what we've seen in past World Cups. So it's a big opportunity for Canada and whoever wins that game to stay here, guys.
Yeah, and the 12th man, I mean, Jimmy, just, what the importance as well of not having to pack your bags and be able to stay in the same spot and create that routine. Yeah,
look, you want to stay in the city that you're based in at the moment. So you're in a comfortable place. The surroundings you're familiar with, your families are there. It allows you to get prepared in the right way, rather than packing all your stuff, heading to the airport, traveling, going away. They want to stay here. And the other thing is, too, you want to be playing in BC, in that stadium with 50-odd thousand Canadians backing you, as opposed to going down to the States and only having a few thousand traveling Canadian fans that are going to come support. So for these guys right now, there's only one thing on their mind, is to win the group, get 7 points, and then make sure that round of 32 is in Vancouver.
I'm glad you said that number 7, because I think, Gaff, when we're looking at this World Cup months before, years before, once we found out who was going to be in Canada's group, a number that I said that would be deemed successful is 4. Like 7 is a dream, right? Like then also you get this, you get momentum. You're undefeated in group stage. There's those people, you know it, that are talking about Jesse Marsch in Canada being like, okay, yeah, you scored 6 goals at a World Cup and broke all these records, but it was against Qatar. But being Switzerland, a team that in the past few World Cups always make it to the round of 16 and always make a push, you go and beat them when you don't really need to. A draw will do. That's self-belief. Now all of a sudden, you played 3 games, you drew 1, and you're getting better and better each game that you play. Yeah. That's where Canada needs to be. And then, of course, hosting at home will be great. But now you know we've won the last 2 World Cup games. We're scoring goals. We're feeling good. That's what Canada needs to get to.
They do. And, you know, let's not take anything away here from this national team. And people saying, oh, well, it's Qatar. They weren't. Qatar's first game against Switzerland, everybody said, don't underestimate this team. Because they're defensively organized, they're a sound team, and then they wait for that counter and they end up getting their goal rewarded. This national team, when we played Qatar, we were all over them. We didn't allow the momentum to swing because it was a 90-minute professional performance. And yeah, we made Qatar look bad. We made them look like a bang average team. But they're not. They're a decent side, but it's just our performance on the day, which was very good.
He's so right. Can I quickly say as well, we watch a lot of football games. Sometimes in the first minute or 2, I'm getting my chips, sour cream and onions, Ruffles, shout out to them. I'm getting you're getting settled into the match. I couldn't move against Canada and Qatar. To Jimmy's point, from the first whistle, I was like, something's gonna happen, right? It didn't happen until later on in the match, but he's so right. Front-footed and ready to go. I couldn't even get my Ruffles. I had to get a wifey to get them for me.
Normally it's Sour Patch.
I have to get Ruffles that day.
This is something else that teams now have to consider, right? KJ, obviously, is when it comes to travel, especially even moving forward, more World Cups are going to be hosted by multiple cities and countries. We see this. But how does the quality of opponent also change depending on if you finish first or second in your group?
Well, I mean, obviously, you win the group, you're going to get to play a team that's finished 3rd. We don't know yet how that's going to work out. There's some favorable to potentially being the Argentina group, and then there's some potentially looking at the group that's based here now, which is the New Zealand, Egypt group with Iran and Belgium. So obviously playing, for, you know, if you win the group, you play a 3rd place team, you'd expect to be favorites, particularly being at home. Now, if you finish 2nd, you have to play that first opening game of the knockout games around against the 2nd team in Group A, which you would not be concerned about either. I do think it will be challenging, but I don't think it would be something that this Canadian team should be overwrought about, whether they're playing, you know, South Africa, whether they're playing, you know, a team like South Korea or the Czech Republic. So they're beatable opponents, but it just speaks to wanting to stay here right now. I think that's so important. The other thing I can offer for you and the viewers is just this city is on fire right now. It is absolutely electric. Everywhere you go, every bar, every restaurant, doesn't matter whether you can go past barbershops, everybody's watching games. Every single game is on. You walk down the street, you hear commentary, the atmosphere. Yes, everyone's getting behind Canada, but you go into a pub. This is the beauty of this sport is that in this country is that there's so many fans from so many different countries. It's a sea of red one day to a sea of yellow to a sea of blue. There's so many people supporting so many different countries here. And Canada have played a massive part of that. And I just think if Vancouver have a way of keeping Canada here, the knock-on effect of what that's going to do for generations upon generations around the sport in this country, really, it's very hard to value that right now and to put a value on it. But that is just going to be so significant for the sport in this country if they can stay here and generate those moments for Canadians in Canada.
Yeah, you just hope you want to see more Vancouver FC people at those games, Pacific as well, who are out in that region. That would be wonderful as well for the Canadian Premier League. Christian Jack joining the show here. Have a great night.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, that's KJ powered by General Mills. You know, we do this in the media, which is, oh, if you finish first, you get this opponent. If you finish second, you get that opponent. So maybe you should actually try to finish second, you know, because you start to kind of look and you follow the bracket and who would be a better matchup. I know the media does that. As players, what do you look at? Is it just, we don't care, you win at all costs.
You don't care, you win.
You don't care at all who the potential opponent would be.
Not at all. Not at all. When you're in tournaments, you just want to win. You want to finish with the most points. You want to be on top. What that does is it gives you the bit of bragging rights. It also your confidence as a team. Now, when you're looking at it, going, we've just won that league. Now there are these standings. Now let's get to this next round. And it doesn't matter who you're going to play. And you want some good competition as well, right? And because if you do beat that team in the round of 32, that's a decent side. well, you just get braver and braver, don't you? And then the next game, bring that one on. We'll take anybody on now. And it's just, you're packed with confidence. But you never think, oh, well, maybe if we're going to finish second. That never crossed your mind when you step onto the field as a professional. Every game you want to win.
I will say, too, in tournament football, regardless whether it's grassroots, once you dip, it's really hard to get back up. Like, if you could just go on a trajectory where you start raising your game and making sure that you're doing well, that's what you want. Like, I've been in so many tournaments where you're like, oh, this is an easier team in the semifinals. But then it goes to penalties, and it's just like you can't find a way to score because you just lost the quarterfinal game before, and all of a sudden it feels like the world's against you. It's a team that you should beat, but you lost the game before, and now things are difficult. That's what we don't want for Canada. We want those vibes that KJ talked about in Vancouver. You want people that don't know what's going on to get behind this team. Like, we want, obviously, BC plays packed out, but the streets, when you're getting into there, it feels like you're in Canada, like we're going to go and suffocate whoever we're playing. So this team beating Switzerland, getting a good result against them, bodes well, and then round of 32, anything can happen.
It's got to feel good, too, Ishmael Kone. We saw the video. He's out of hospital now, joining his team. Just uplifting spirits to see him, I guess. Like, what does that do when you see your teammate come back? He's always smiling, but that has to feel good.
Oh, for sure. And even, like, the kiss from Nathan Saliba that he gives him as well. I'm like, man, like, there's just so many ties with this team, and, like, the brotherhood is a real thing. But obviously, you never want to see anyone go through that type of injury, but I just think the way that Ishmael is handling it and the way that he's just so organic and authentic about how he feels for his team, but also just this game, I don't want to say he's a perfect person for that to happen to, but the way that he's flipping that energy, I think it's a perfect situation.
Yeah, it is really special to see him out of the hospital now and joining his team. They were clapping, they were cheering, and yes, there were some tears as well involved there. When we come back, a lot more to get into, and we are going to get into Portugal. They're going to take on Uzbekistan on Tuesday. Does Portugal have a Cristiano Ronaldo problem? We're going to discuss when we return to Bet365 for the win right here on One Soccer.
For the Win on One Soccer is presented by Bet365.
We were there for your first game together. The day you taught him the rules and the answer for every question. We've been there for the good times and a few moments we don't talk about. And now,
who won the most Canadian Classics?
it's a passion you can share. And we're just happy we could be there. 20 years, and we're still growing. Together.
Locked in, better watch for more. Don't call me up, I'm a pressing no. 5 minutes, I'ma hit the floor. All eyes on me, let my body talk. Don't sleep, ready, move your feet. Bass hits, heavy body on the beat. Copy me and feel the heat. Tonight, all night, live on repeat. So come on. You feel that?
In Canada, our future stars don't simply show up on the world stage. They are built from the ground up, right here in the heart of our communities.
Oh, lovely through ball there, Isaiah Johnson. Goal for Halifax.
From a childhood dream to the national team.
Jacob Shuffle, good. Yes, he's done it. Canada on top of the footballing world.
We are Canada, driven by Volkswagen.
Canada are really pressing here. Oh, what a move. That is a quality ball. Now the run into the box.
For the Win on One Soccer is presented by Bet365.
Toronto Stadium hosted a match today, Germany-Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast getting the first goal of the game, but Germany launching the comeback and then getting the go-ahead in the 90-plus fourth minute. 2-1, they were victorious in that one. Oliver Platt, and yes, we had enough of Wheels in studio, so we sent him your way, Ollie, to take in this match. Break it on down for us.
Thanks, Andy. Yeah, Wales, Germany, back-to-back group stage World Cup exits. They've got over the first hurdle. This time they're through to the knockout stage with a 2-1 win over Ivory Coast. Dennis Undav with 2 goals in the second half, including a last-minute winner. They're on the verge of winning the group as well. Was this Germany waking up from a 12-year slumber?
I think so. It took a while, and nothing, and I mean nothing, came easy for Germany here today. It was a brilliant game. It seemed easy at times for Ivory Coast, but the quality shone through at the end. And you mentioned the name, Dennis Undav. He is the man who's on the tips of the tongue of German football fans today. 5 minutes before he came on the field, around the 55th minute, you heard the German support, which was in Toronto Stadium en masse today, chanting Undav, Undav. They knew the team lacked a focal point, and they lacked ideas. A lot of good footballers on the field for Julian Nagelsmann, but no decisive difference maker. And Undav came on the field, part of a triple change, and changed the entire complexion of the game. 2 really good goals, Ollie, 2 strikers' goals. Now he has 3 goals and 2 assists in this competition already. He only came on in the 64th minute in the first game, and he's the man in form for Nagelsmann. And Julian Nagelsmann post-match said that, you know, maybe he keeps him in his role coming off the bench because he's done so well thus far. But still, for this team, if they're going to go deep in this tournament and be that challenger, I think many of us, including myself, think they actually are, then Undav needs to start. They need a focal point. It was shades of Miroslav Klose and some of the great German number 9s who haven't always been the best player for them on the field, but the difference maker in the end.
Well, that was a name I was going to bring up because there's been a lot of talk in German football about them having a lot of very good technical players and all-rounders, but not enough specialists, and maybe that having something to do with the German academies. Undav came the untraditional route through the lower leagues. He trained as a mechanical engineer because he didn't know if he was going to make it in professional football. Reminds you of Miroslav Klose, who trained as a carpenter, had his trade of his own, came up through the leagues, became the World Cup's all-time top goal scorer. So when you look back at those German teams, the likes of Miroslav Klose played for, are you seeing hints that they can get back to that level now, or is they still a little bit of a way off, do you think?
I think they're technically very, very good. By the way, Undav also played for Union Saint-Gilloise, so the Promise David reference as well. And he's scoring goals for fun. I think what Nagelsmann needs is a little bit of balance in the team. I think he's been watching Bayern Munich a little bit too much with the wide players playing very wide and dropping maybe a false 9 like Kai Havertz a little bit deeper. But the problem is Kai Havertz isn't Harry Kane. No one is Harry Kane in terms of the way that he plays, and quite frankly, there's a lot of players with similar abilities in that German starting 11. It was the exact same starting 11 this time around. Sané, Musiala, Wirtz, Havertz. Where's the alpha? Where's the guy that will make something happen? That's why the injury to Leonard Carl pre-competition hurts, because he's more accustomed to taking players off the dribble. Here, they need a traditional number 9. Undav seems like the solution. Solid through the midfield. Very good through the back line, even though Nico Schlotterbeck's injury will complicate things. And they found a way. It was a big-time mentality victory with Undav's intervention. I think it puts Germany in a really good place. They might get through, like go on and win the group, but they're still going to have a really tough go of it depending on what their draw actually is, paired up essentially with the French group, which is maybe the strongest group in this competition. But I like what I see from Germany. They got away with one today, but that's okay. Teams typically have to go through moments like this in every World Cup in order to have success.
And grow into the tournament as well. And you felt with the celebrations, you know, the subs poured onto the pitch with that last-minute winning goal, that maybe could be a turning point. The question for me is still with them defensively. They haven't kept a World Cup clean sheet since the final in 2014. That's been a real consistent problem for them, is keeping balls out of the back of the net. I felt they were quite fortunate, to be honest, to only concede 1 today. Simon Adingra is going to be having nightmares about that last-minute chance. But let's move on to Ivory Coast with that. Unlucky not to get more out of this one because they could have taken the win in the end.
Absolutely. I thought they were very well organized and they played at their tempo. They allowed Germany to knock around the ball for fun, but they weren't bothered for long stretches of the game. I think they did really well with some individual matchups on the field. Jan Diomande, the teenager, is a special talent. Basically, every move into the attacking third in the first half came down his left-hand side. He's a right-sided player as well. He was picking on Joshua Kimmich. When he came off the field, there was a big drop in production. Same thing when Singo, the right back, came off, when Ahmad came off as well. This Ivory Coast team, They're strong. They're physical. They were bullying Germany at times. They're going to be kicking themselves. Edinger, I'm not sure what he was thinking. Nicolas Pepe put it on a platter for him, and he just hit it first time. I don't know why he took a touch. That would have made it 2-1 late on the game. It was done and dusted. Then Ivory Coast, with Curacao to come, were going to be the team that was going to go on to win this group. How things change so quickly. They still have Curacao to come. They're still a very good team. Their organization was exceptional. They have difference makers on the field. They beat themselves today. I don't think Germany beat them necessarily. They beat themselves. This is a highly competitive group with Ecuador in it as well. So I think that they let Germany off the hook, and now they need to regroup. They're still going to go on to a knockout round game, but it's going to be a much more difficult path for them.
Yeah, difference makers is a big difference maker for them, right? There's a lot of good teams at this tournament, not many that have a young talent like Jan Diomande, who looks really special. I give their coach, MS Faye, a lot of credit as well. He played 4-4-2 in the first game, had a great result against Ecuador, did very well to open the tournament. This game he makes 5 changes and changes the formation, and it was the right thing to do. They really frustrated Germany for long periods of this game. The midfield 3 in particular was excellent at really blocking up the areas that Germany wanted to play through. Really pulsating game. I think one of the best of the tournament when you talk about 2 good teams going at it for 90 minutes. What about the overall experience today, seeing teams like this and a game like this in Toronto?
There was a buzz around the stadium after the final whistle, because I think everyone appreciated the type of performances they saw from both sides and how special that group stage fixture was. Having been at World Cups before, it's not always like this. There's a lot of 0-0s, 1-0s, very defensive games. Nagelsmann said at post-match they went out to win the game. Same thing went for Ivory Coast. They tried to play to win as well. It's been really good to see at this World Cup, and the stadium really enjoyed it as well. We ran into Dwayne De Rosario out here post-match. He said this is what it's all about, top-class football and a captivated audience. And that's what it was today. Canadian football fans, they know good football when they see it. It was a great game today. They're buzzing. Let's hope there's more of that to come with the remaining fixtures, both in Toronto and Vancouver.
Well, we've had Kyle Aaron's late equaliser. We've had a 90+5 winner, a 90+4 winner in this game in Ghana against Panama. So not too bad stuff in Toronto so far. Andy, we'll throw it back to you.
Yeah, Toronto has been spoiled with a lot of these great games. And by the way, which I have to say, I love the images of the fans marching to the stadium. Like the amount of German fans that were in the streets today in Toronto. Shout out to my Uncle Heinz, who married my dear Philomena. I thought I knew the only German in the city.
Catch up.
He's got company. Yeah, Mr. Heinz. Yeah, Uncle Heinz. But he's got company. There are a lot of Germans in the city, and this is what the World Cup teaches us, is where a lot of people are from who live in this great city, in this great country. We see it, obviously, in Vancouver, too. But let me ask you about Germany here, because we know this is a good team. When you look at their past World Cups, 2002 finalists, 2006, 2010, third place. They're up there. 2014, they win it. But then, Jimmy, the last 2 World Cups, they don't make it out of the group. There's a lot of pressure on them.
Of course there's pressure. I mean, this is one of the biggest footballing countries in the world. And I think if you look over the last number of years, especially in Germany now, the amount of young players that they're producing, I mean, we've watched a lot of Bundesliga games this year. The amount of young players that are coming through the system is remarkable. Fantastic youth that are there. The experienced players that are involved in this squad right now are world class. Now, qualifying, it was a breeze for them. The friendlies that they've played in the build-up to the World Cup, they've been cruising through them. Now you've come into the World Cup, your first match, you win 7-1. Your second game playing against Ivory Coast, it's always going to be a tough match. And you end up winning 2-1. But good teams find a way to win. Now, if this was the previous Germany side in previous World Cups, they probably would have lost that or maybe come away with a draw. But not this group. They dug in and they did what they had to do. It's never always going to be pretty. Everybody wants us to play pretty football and enjoy it and score lots of goals. Sometimes you have to grind it out, and good teams do find a way to get a win. And today they did that.
You saw it on Nagelsmann's face at the end of the game. Germany's coach, like, hugging his players as well. It was a grind. I thought Ivory Coast, for a large portion of the game, looked like the better team. They had more legs. They were more front-footed. They had big chances. We were watching it together that could have put the game away or been up 2-1. But Jimmy's right. Like, good teams find a way to win. And there was something with Germany this World Cup that you kind of have to uplift that curse a little bit just to go and get out of the group and make sure that you're playing their football. But the fact that they've played 2 games and have 6 points, they're starting to trend in the right direction. There's so many teams, especially with this 48 World Cup, where people are like, oh, we think this team can go and do it. Germany have the tools to do it with the balance within their side, defenders that can really defend. Obviously, you're looking at Undav, but other strikers and players that can go and make a difference. So you had to get over the first hurdle, and they did that today. But yeah, the sky's the limit for this team.
Let's turn our attention to Portugal. Up next for them will be Uzbekistan. That's on the 23rd. Their first game against Congo, 1-1 draw. And the talk coming out of that, a lot of people were not impressed with Cristiano Ronaldo's play. Even some pundits coming out and saying that he's trying to score as opposed to helping his team score. So it's a simple question. Does Portugal have a Cristiano Ronaldo problem?
Yes, and it was like this before this tournament, and it's been like this probably for a little bit now. We have to put context in for maybe people that don't know about the handsome man, Cristiano Ronaldo. He's been Portugal's best player for 20 years. I dare someone to argue with me. You could argue as well that he's been the best player in the world, I would say barring with Lionel Messi, for the past 10, 15 years. Now he's getting old. He's 41 and kept himself in great shape. But the thing that's why it's a problem for Cristiano Ronaldo right now, Jimmy, is because he's not doing the things that he needs to do as a striker. He's trying to do the things that he needs to do or he wants to do for accolades, meaning he wants to be the guy to make a difference and score. And I'm watching that match against Democratic Republic of Congo. And once the ball gets wide and you're about 6 yards from the touchline and the ball gets whipped in, you need someone, a number 9, to run in between those 2 center backs, put themselves there and get the tap in. You don't need to be getting the ball and try to cut it back and waving your hand at the top of the box for a free shot. You need to be the one to go and get dirty and run into that spot and get there. Right now, Ronaldo's thinking about himself and not the squad. And he has the quality to go on and make the difference, but you have to do the right things for your team. And I want to see the Ronaldo from the Euro 2016 when he got injured. He's on the touchline and he's still probing and cheering his team on. That's the Ronaldo that Portugal need.
But that was him on the sideline.
That was him on the sideline. Yeah.
We'll talk about sideline in a moment.
Yeah.
Yes.
But this is his 6th World Cup. Now, you're 41 years old, and you're still trying to get at it. Yes, you've kept yourself in shape, but there has to be a point as well where you realize, I'm not offering everything that I can to this team right now because I can't. And there's a lot of players around me that are going to have to do extra work because of the stuff that I can't physically do right now. And I'm not saying he's done. By no means is he done. But it is a World Cup, and you need results. Yes, you've got to draw. Maybe it's a game that you should have won. But you have to really look at the team first. And that has to come in order to be successful for this team. And it might be the manager stepping up and saying, Cristiano, you're going to play a different role for me right now. You're going to start and you're going to come off the bench. You are one of the best strikers in the world, but I need somebody that can go out there right now and run and chase down that back line, get in certain areas for 90-plus minutes in order for us to get results. And I think this is probably going to be a conversation over the next few days before their next match anyways to figure out how are we going to make this work, because it clearly didn't work in the first game. Everybody's noticing it, and there's plenty of talk. And don't think that the players inside that dressing room haven't been talking as well, saying, hey, we need more up top than what we're getting at the moment. So is there a problem? Yeah, I think there is a problem.
It's crazy to think because of what he's accomplished in his career, but if he does end up having a poor World Cup, do you think that could hurt his legacy?
No, you'll never touch his legacy. He's by far one of the best footballers to ever play this game. He's an absolute icon in this game. He's done everything that there is to do. One bad World Cup does not jeopardize his whole career whatsoever. But the thing is, I think with him now and his age, his experience, maturity, this is where he's got to look at himself now as well and say what's best for the team.
This is the one that's missing, though. Obviously, he's won like Champions Leagues, he won the Euro 2016. This is the one, right? Like, you think about the best players in the world, or the best players I've ever played, the Pelés, the Maradona, Messi. Like, you go through a long list, Zinedine Zidane, whoever, World Cups. Right? That's the one that's coveted for him. And you think about Portugal, who's never done it. He knows that he wants to be the guy that lifts it as a captain. This is a big deal, right, as well. But what you said about the manager, about Martinez, that's what kind of sticks out to me about the situation. Cristiano Ronaldo's not going to say, go bench me. What player would say that?
Yeah.
Like, no player's going to be like, if I'm an old center back, I'm not going to be like, you know what, I'm going to I'm going to play if a coach is going to play me. But what you need to do if you're a really good manager is before there's a problem that gets too big, you nip it in the bud. And this Cristiano Ronaldo, in terms of not doing the right things and trying to be glorified and not making the runs that he needs to do, that's been on the table before this World Cup even started. So conversations should have been had with Ronaldo, but it's also getting to the time for Martinez and Portugal that it has to happen now if they want to go and progress.
And when we talk about managers, so if you go back to 2022 World Cup, he did start on the bench in their round of 16. That ended up being a victory, 6-1 over Swiss. The player who started, Ramos, in favor of Cristiano Ronaldo, who was benched, went out and got a hat-trick. Then he was also benched as well in the quarterfinal against Morocco. Portugal getting eliminated, though, at that point. But you have to remember, that was Fernando Santos. Cristiano Ronaldo played in every single game at Euros 2024, like he started. Now he's starting here. This is Roberto Martinez. So you're almost, if you say, oh, well, it happened in 2022, but that was a different manager.
Yeah.
Santos was the one who said, I'm going to bench you, right? Like round of 16, quarterfinal, you're not coming on, as a starter, you'll come on as a substitute. Martinez, does he have to have that awkward conversation then?
Well, he has to. I mean, that's what you get paid for. You get paid for results. And at the end of the day, that's why you play professional sports, is to win. And you got to do whatever it takes. And you're the manager. You got to make the calls. You're the one that has to sit down with the players. If something's not right, you have to look at it and you have to fix it. That's your job. You're not there to be best friends. You're there to be a manager and lead a country and get the best out of this team and do what's right for this team to get success.
I also think the other players like Lau, when you're looking at their team, Rafael, they're players that are playing good, but they need to go and take that spot as well and be the main guy. I could see a world of Cristiano Ronaldo, 65th, 70th minute, could come on with ample of room when they start to cross the ball as well. Portugal, like no one leaps as well as Ronaldo does. No one has a knack for scoring goals the way he does, but to start games when teams are fresh and he's 41, it maybe doesn't favor him. But again, that should be on the manager and how you want to go about things. Because I think Portugal have the tools. Right now, again, it's only just one game, but they haven't been using it in the right way.
That's what my mom used to say to me. She goes, I'm not your friend, I'm your mother.
Wow.
There you go.
She would lay down the rules. But you know what's crazy? Because we know this, and it's got to seep in with the two of them as well, right? It's always the comparison, who's better? We have this conversation, is it Messi, is it Ronaldo? And Messi has gone out and won that World Cup. And Messi played in a game before Ronaldo did here at the World Cup and goes and gets a hat trick. So, I mean, there's already pressure already, because to your point, I mean, Portugal, you want to go out and you want to win the World Cup. The career that he's already had, he wants to put that exclamation point on it with a World Cup win. But when he sees what Lionel Messi's doing, does that add more pressure? Is he then, creating for himself these expectations that have him step out of line with his team?
He wants it too much at this point. And for context, this has also been something that's motivated Cristiano Ronaldo. Like, there were years where Messi's winning the Ballon d'Or, Cristiano's winning it. There was also a time where they were going El Clasicos, and you had Messi at Barcelona and Cristiano Ronaldo at Real Madrid. These two have been going at it, and honestly, as a football fan, it's been great. Because one would get a record, then the other one would beat the other one, and then you could see that Cristiano Ronaldo would have a great year, but Messi would win something that...
we're spoiled watching both of them.
You know what I mean? So this is the last goal. Of course Cristiano Ronaldo's thinking about this. You know who's not? Lionel Messi, because he won the last one, right? So of course all of the pressure right now is on Cristiano Ronaldo, and he's feeling it. But again, in order for Portugal to go to the promised land, he might have to give up some of himself for his team, and that's what needs to happen in the next few days, few weeks.
Did you have anybody that you were ever in competition with?
He's like myself.
No, my brothers.
Oh, look at that.
Aw, who won?
Me, of course.
I just wanted you to say it. I want your brothers to know exactly how you feel about competition with them. All right, well, we'll see what ends up happening in Portugal's next game, and if there's going to be a change in that starting 11, or if Ronaldo says, I'm going to make all of you eat your words. When we return here to Bet365 for the win on One Soccer, Arash Madani joins us. We talk Jonathan David, Max Crepeau, and Ali Ahmed. Stay with us.
For the Win on One Soccer is brought to you by General Mills. For the Win on One Soccer is brought to you by Turkey Farmers of Canada.
In Canada, our future stars don't simply show up on the world stage. They are built from the ground up, right here in the heart of our communities.
Oh, lovely through ball there, Isaiah Johnson! Goal for Halifax!
From a childhood dream to the national team.
Jacob Shuffle, good! Yes! He's done it! Canada, on top of the footballing world!
We are Canada, driven by Volkswagen.
And for Canada, BMO.
After 20 years of supporting the game, we're actually going to play in one. Let's go! So what do you need? Precision striker, rock solid left back?
We need a coin.
For the coin toss? Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, I get it. Can I at least flip it? Heads or tails? I'll do that. We're on TV right now. Yeah.
Hey neighbor, meet Walmart Plus, the new membership that does delivery differently. I'm talking unlimited free same-day delivery, free shipping, and no order minimum. And it comes with a Crave subscription too. Yeah, it's like a 2-for-1. Try it free for 30 days. Walmart Plus.
Locked in, better watch for more. Don't call me up, I'm a pressing no. 5 minutes, I'ma hit the floor. All eyes on me, let my body talk. Don't sleep, ready, move your feet. Bass hits, everybody on the beat. Copy me and feel the heat. Tonight, all night, live on repeat. So come on.
For the Win on One Soccer is brought to you by Samsung.
So what did we learn from that historic night in Vancouver? Well, let us count the ways. We learned that without a shadow of a doubt, Kyle Larin is him. We learned the voodoo and hex over Jonathan David is finally gone. We learned why Steph Eustaquio has been wearing the armband. Influence, quality decision-making, the quiet general. We learned Tajon Buchanan has to be better, especially now with more opportunities ahead. We learned even on a yellow, Alistair Johnston wasn't afraid and provided better delivery. We learned 11 over 9 will always put you in the driver's seat. We learned Ali Ahmed can be counted upon and is clearly fit. And up until the injury, we learned just how valuable Ismail Kone was for Canada, the air traffic controller in the midfield. We're about to truly learn just how massive a loss Kone will be moving forward. And here's what else we learned. Just how valuable being in Vancouver truly is. The seas of red for blocks upon blocks outside the stadium, the thunderous roars inside of it. We learned there can never be another night like Thursday, where nerves became celebration. For 90 minutes, the ghosts of generations past vanished. We learned how badly we all needed that. And because of it, we learned how massive the next one will be. Win the game, win the group, extra rest, home field. We learned this is all really real now, and that Canada is squarely in the mix of it all.
This is Our House, presented by Samsung. Pleased to be joined by Arash Madani. And I want to continue the conversation on Jonathan David. What a historic win for Canada. We know this 6-0. A lot of people relishing in that moment. But at the same time, we can't help but talk about Ismail Kone. It was so great to see him visit the team as well today. But with David and that hat trick, he now, as we know, was already the leader of the Canadian men's national team, Arash, in goals, but now has 42. What do you think this unlocks for him?
I mean, a ton of confidence, first of all, Andy. I mean, you think about just this World Cup. 2 players have a hat trick in this World Cup so far. Messi and Jonathan David. Like, it just seems too far-fetched to believe. And I thought it was something interesting Jesse Marsch talked about the day after the match. He said, you know, after the draw with Bosnia, he approached Jonathan David and said, look, I need you to train better in the lead up to Qatar. When we go out to Vancouver, I need you to be a little bit more focused in our training sessions. And Marsch's point was that actually allowed him to have an improved state of mind going into that match against Qatar. And what did we see from the jump, Andy? We saw Jonathan David driving, attacking the part of the pitch that is his office. He effectively set up the first goal for Larin, and then from there came the goals in bunches. I mean, how many times, Andy, have you and I seen this? That it takes one thing to ignite somebody who's in any kind of slump, regardless of sport. Perhaps we saw exactly that from Jonathan David. At the time, both he and the national team needed it the most.
The dam broke, that's for sure. And for him and his team and obviously the country, they're hoping that will continue even into that final group stage game against Switzerland. And, you know, even in the press conference before the Qatar match, when he was asked about Jonathan David, Jesse Marsch was like, listen, this guy, by the time he's done his career, will probably have 60 or 70 goals for Canada. Well, now he's at 42. So the prophecy may be coming true here. Let's turn our attention to Ali Ahmed. This is somebody who injured his hamstring May 27. We were wondering if he would be ready in time. He came on as a sub in game 1, gets the start in game 2. Is this somebody now that Jesse Marsch can rely on as the starter?
Yeah, I honestly, Andy, I believe there's no real conversation or debate here. To me, Ali Ahmed starts the rest of the way as long as he's healthy. And that's no slight on Liam Miller, who I thought did quite well against Bosnia. But if you think back, the question coming into this tournament at that position was, when will Ahmed fully be fit? And in that opener that you talked about, he showed flickers that he's just about there. I think it's important to remember nobody is 100% right now. And the suggestion has been made to me that Ahmed is in that camp too. But Andy, like, his enough is more than good enough right now. I was told he passed most of the endurance and speed tests between match 1 and match 2. And you may remember, Andy, before this World Cup started, Ahmed made the point, maybe that hamstring is a bit of a blessing in disguise because the toll of the club season had gotten to him. Now Canada has as fit a player who's going to give them major minutes, major starting minutes moving forward.
There are so many storylines around this team, and obviously there are the good ones, and then there are the ones that you don't want to talk about, but we've just kind of been alluding to some of them, of course, which are the injuries here. When Ishmael Kone went down, the team obviously noticeably shaken by that. What about Max Crepeau? This is a leader on the team. You know, it was mentioned by Jesse Marsch just before the World Cup. He is also going to be our starter. What has he meant as that emotional leader as well, and in particular in that game when Kone went down?
Well, the cameras captured Bombito, who was a bit of a mess, because for so many of these players, they've been through injuries before, and for the Buchanan, the Bombitos, they've been through catastrophic injuries before. The PTSD is immediate, it's real. And remember, Max Crepeau was in this exact same boat just before World Cup 2022. He was set to be on the roster, set to be Milan Borjan's backup, and then he suffered a massive injury. What the cameras didn't pick up was Luc de Fougerolles, who was a mess back there. He was emotional. He was really upset. And it was Crepeau who kind of grabbed the kid, de Fougerolles, and said, hey, it's going to be okay. Let's get through this. This is a real thing on a team. And I thought it was really interesting that Crepeau talked about, look, it's not just the soccer stuff. It's not just the on-field stuff. Like, when you're in an injury situation like this, just getting up to go get a glass of water, going to go to the bathroom is a real challenge. You can barely walk. And when you get injured, especially in club football, you disappear. You're a ghost. It's like you never even existed on the team. Now for the spirit of Kone, not only is he going to be around the team at the hotel, in the meetings, he can attend the training sessions, he'll be there at the matches, and he'll have the empathy of somebody like a Crepeau who went through it with him. Crepeau is going to get some of the teammates to help him just to do everyday life things as part of this injury recovery. You know, Jesse Marsch joked, yeah, Max didn't have too much to do. It felt like a coffee and newspaper game for Crepeau against Qatar. But actually what he's going to mean for the spirits of Ismail Kone and to get all the players united to help Kone in this recovery, I think is going to play a major part in the psyche of this team over the next couple of weeks.
And I love that he's around the team. And to your point, we also see it in pro sports where the injured players sometimes can be pushed off to the side. That's changing. I think more and more teams are understanding the psychology and importance of a player being with the team even as they heal, what that means for them and what that means for their teammates. Arash Madani, thanks for taking the time.
Thanks, Andy.
The Canadian under-20 team will be in action in the CONCACAF U20 Championship. That gets started on July 25th. The Canadians begin their tournament on the 26th against Panama, also in their group, Honduras and Jamaica. The Canadians last won this tournament back in 1996. So you can watch that action right here on One Soccer. More coming up as you continue to watch Bet365 for the win. We're going to take a look at the Sunday matches for the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
For the Win on One Soccer is brought to you by General Mills. For the Win on One Soccer is brought to you by Turkey Farmers of Canada.
Canada are really pressing here. Oh, what a move. That is a quality ball. Now the run into the box.
Hey neighbor, meet Walmart Plus, the new membership that does delivery differently. I'm talking unlimited free same-day delivery, free shipping, and no order minimum. And it comes with a Crave subscription too. Yeah, it's like a 2-for-1. Try it free for 30 days. Walmart Plus.
Hey Vinny, is that your lucky song? That's too bad, because it's Tajon's too. And don't trust those lucky boots. They're not gonna score on their own. In soccer, the best don't run on rocket fuel. They run every single day. So believe in your sweat, and Gatorade will fuel it with a formula that rehydrates, replenishes, and refuels. Because when it matters most, trust what's inside. Is it in you?
We were there for your first game together. The day you taught him the rules. And the answer for every question. We've been there for the good times and a few moments we don't talk about. And now?
Who won the most Canadian Classics?
It's a passion you can share. And we're just happy we could be there. 20 years, and we're still growing. Together.
For the Win on One Soccer is brought to you by Samsung.
Here's a look at Sunday's schedule. If something starts at 12 a.m. ET, technically it's the next day, but do you see it as tonight or tomorrow? Jordan?
That's, tonight.
It's the toughest question of the show.
You know what
is that tonight or is that tomorrow?
I think 3 years ago, that would definitely be tonight, but I'm getting old, mama. I'm getting old. Like, that seems like the next day now. 12 a.m.? That's next day.
You're like, that is definitely tomorrow. When we take a look at these teams who are in action, we're going to look at Japan versus Tunisia for your Tell Us player to watch, Jimmy.
This is my player to watch. I think he's a fantastic, young, talented player from Japan. Plays his football at Real Sociedad. He's got the speed, agility. He's a clever little player, qualifying 4 goals, 8 assists. He's a remarkable young player. He actually started in Barcelona Academy, ended up going back to Japan, got bought by Real Madrid, was there for 4 years, and then found a home at Real Sociedad. But this is the next superstar for me coming out of Japan.
You're going to make your way to Spain, Saudi Arabia for your Tell Us player to watch.
Yeah, for me, it has to be Pedri. I put him in my best 11 for this tournament in terms of what he can do in the midfield and how he can conduct it. But obviously Spain haven't started the way that they dreamt in terms of not scoring a goal against Cape Verde as well. So you're looking at a player that could also contribute in that regard in Pedri. And I like the way that he's getting forward. And when you think about Spain too, when you think about the Iniestas and Xavi, obviously all these guys had great club careers, but it's how they showed up at the World Cup. Like, what's coming to mind right now is Iniesta 2010 when he gets that goal against the Netherlands, right? Like, once you score that and you have that World Cup, then you're in Spanish royalty forever.
Well, let's focus a little bit more on Spain here because their first game drew a ton of headlines, but it wasn't exactly in Spain's favor. It was a 0-0 draw against Cape Verde. Vuzinha, the goalkeeper, was the absolute stud in that game. He was the star. He continues to be this emotional story. And a lot of people looking at that game as well saying, see, when you expand to 48 teams, these are the types of stories you were hoping for. So, of course, Spain was on the other side of that. But now that they look ahead to Saudi Arabia, you have to wonder if, you know, based on that first game, Jimmy, they're going, we're not leaving anything to chance here. We cannot have that happen again.
You can't. They would have been embarrassed with that because they're expected to win these games. And you can't take anything away from Cape Verde. They defended well. They worked hard. But at the end of the day, this Spanish side, with the talent that they have and what people are predicting, them to go to the final and possibly win the World Cup, now they have to start showing it. And I think you're going to see a different Spanish side against Saudi Arabia than what you saw against Cape Verde. They've got a lot to prove, and this will definitely be a match that they're going to win. And I got my money on that one.
Look at that. Spain are always going to keep the ball and always going to be tactical as well, but you can't go and have 2 games in the World Cup and you don't score a goal. No. So Jimmy's so right. Like, you're going to see a different, tenacious Spain side tomorrow, and a team that can make a real deep run, but you got to score goals to be in games.
Who do you have between Belgium and Iran?
I have Belgium. I think, look, I look at their first game as well, and I look at the fact that there's been so much talk about Belgium before because they had the golden generation. Now the golden generation is getting a little bit older. But I look at the makeup within the side and a bit of the balance that they have in this team, and I'm like, yo, they have definitely a good shot. I think tomorrow against Iran, though, if I had to put a number to it, that's a 2-1 win.
Ooh, I'm saying Iran.
Look at that.
Yeah, I think
they're going
to beat Belgium. Go on,
What are we doing? 20s? Toonies?
I don't know. Don't tell everybody.
Yeah, don't you? Okay. How about New Zealand, Egypt?
I'm taking New Zealand.
No.
I'm taking New Zealand.
What's going on today?
I'm taking New Zealand. And the reason being is because I like this squad. I like the dynamic within them, the team, the way that they're playing. And they got my guy up top, Chris Wood, Nottingham Forest striker.
That's why.
Capitano.
I should have known that.
They're going to get a result.
Okay.
Egypt's winning this game. Mo Salah's taking over. Like, what are we doing?
Okay.
That's a comfortable win for Egypt as well.
Can Cape Verde pull off another kind of surprise here as they take on Uruguay? Who do you have?
I have Uruguay winning this.
Okay.
Yeah, the jig is up for Cape Verde. I'm sorry. Like,
you think that's
Yeah, no. They're not a great side, but they have a great moment. They had a great start, but yeah.
Japan, Tunisia. We don't know if this game's going to be tonight or tomorrow. It just depends if you're a night owl or an early riser. Really depends. Who do you have? Japan, Tunisia.
I really like this Japan side, how technical they are, and I feel like, I don't know, just the spirit of how it's moving, I feel like Japan might edge, but it's going to be a really close game because I like the Tunisia side as well. I think like the way that they're playing the football, and it's just tournament football in terms of how you have to be so condensed and compact, and games are really close. But Japan, I've always said with this team, it's always going to take that one World Cup where they make a push, and I feel like this World Cup could be that one for them.
I'm going with Japan.
Okay.
And I've always been a fan of Japanese football. And a lot of people don't realize, but when the J League first started up, what they did was they went and recruited Brazilian coaches and Brazilian players. And they had an influx of all these Brazilians that came in. And that's why Japanese football is so unique, because they have this Japanese discipline with this bit of flair from Brazil. And their brand of football, compared to all teams in Asia, is completely different.
Yeah, that's true.
And I've always liked the way that they play. They're organized. They've got that little bit about them. And they've always got the best kits as well.
They're pretty sweet. So we saw our 7th red card. 7 red cards. By the way, they've all been direct red cards at this World Cup, 4 years ago. But we saw the first red card handed out for covering your mouth. Miguel Almiron gets that for Paraguay. How do you feel about, do you think the players had enough time to adjust the fact that you cover your mouth, or should he have known better? Don't cover your mouth when you go speak to an opponent.
You knew right away going into this tournament, that's the rule. Yeah. And as soon as he put his hand up, what did the opposition do? They started pointing, said, look what he's just done. It's a red card right away all day long. And you know, throughout the tournament, people are just waiting for you to put your mouth up. If I was playing against you, I'd say, I dare put your hand over your mouth. Go on.
What if you had like a Caesar salad before and then you're just being respectful?
Oh, you had garlic breath.
You know, I've had some guys talk to me on a corner kick as well, and I'm like, what did you eat? Like, how dare you don't rate me at all. You don't like me in the slightest. Talking to me about, like, as soon as that mouth opened, I said, whoa.
Yeah.
But we do know why you're not allowed to cover your mouth, because people will then deny what they said when oftentimes what they said wasn't appropriate to be said. So we don't know what Almiron was trying to say, but either way, when you put your hand up, people will assume there's something nefarious going on. You cannot do that. It will be a red card. I'm just blown away by the fact that we've already seen 7. We're not even out of the group stage. And we saw 4 red cards 4 years ago.
What was the opening match? Was it 3?
3 in the opening match alone. And then Qatar picked up 2 against Canada.
Yeah, lovely.
Holy jeez. Anyways, there you go. You've been watching Bet365 for the win right here on One Soccer. On behalf of Jordan, Wilson, Jimmy Brennan, and everyone here at One Soccer, I'm Manny Petrillo. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.